They got the face of every single firefighter that died on 9/11. 343 brave souls that made, as they call it, the supreme sacrifice. They want to rescue people on that day. Get all of those. That woman over there, she was actually counting them. I was just thinking. It says 343 all over. It's right over there. I just told you. Now, again, 343 people. A couple of them you might have heard of before. A couple of them are notable. Has anyone ever heard of a comedian named Pete Davidson? Pete Davidson, heard of that guy, right? I tell people, if they haven't heard of Pete Davidson, oh, big fire, but behind the scenes. You know how much I paid those guys to say, drive by, 1138, you know, they're going to want to see.
You have so many good connections.
Oh, well, so the actual spot where the lobbies were? Yeah, so it would have been in the center. So again, guys, I mentioned Pete Davidson, right? If you haven't heard of Pete Davidson, you might have heard of there's a guy who dated everybody. That's Pete Davidson, right? He's on SNL, he's a comedian. His father, Scott Davidson, died on 9/11. He's a firefighter. There's his dad, Scott Davidson. You know, he didn't follow in his father's footsteps. He showed his dad a lot of, trauma. That's why I became a comedian. I tell people, comedians are some of the saddest people you've ever met. Now, as well, there's another famous guy over here. Have anyone ever heard of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation? Tunnel to Towers. So yeah, I heard of that. Tunnel to Towers Foundation is a charity that's still active today. Tunnel to Towers is based on this famous run that one man did. And that man is this man down here. His name is Steven Siller. Yeah, Steven Siller. So what Steven Siller did is he was working the night before 9/11, so September the 10th. He's working an overnight shift. He finishes at 4 in the morning, goes home. That morning, finds out what's happening. The call goes out, and he responds from his house. It's not the fire company, it's not his house. So he comes from his home, and he's in Brooklyn. He can't get into the city because they blocked off all the roadways, right? They say, no, you can't get to the tunnel. It's closed, city's closed, you can't come in unless you want to walk. So he put on all of his gear, and he ran underneath the river through the tunnel. He ran underneath the entirety of the East River. He ran up the rest of the island. He went inside the building and that same sacrifice. Now that Tunnel to Towers Foundation, what they do is they actually reenact his run. They start you in Brooklyn at the foot of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, and you run underneath the river through the tunnel. You come out here and you end inside the tunnel, from the Battery Tunnel to Towers, the Twin Towers. Some people will actually put weights in their backpack, like 75 pounds worth of weight, or like 36 kilos, and